Hello my juicy peaches and welcome back to my channel. It's your priestess Peaches here, supporting you to live your juiciest life and co-create heaven on earth. Today we are talking about something that is absolutely essential for deep intimacy, for expansive pleasure, and for healing, sexual healing in long-term relationships. But hardly anybody ever talks about this. These things are sexual healing, yoni care, and emotional sexual intimacy. And there are practices that can truly transform your intimate connection and your sexual connection with your partner. So I am all about self-responsibility and doing your own sexual self-healing, but sometimes things don't always come up with just yourself. They come up within the relationship, and they come up within the sexual space with your partner. Certain things can happen throughout your relationship that can cause disagreements, resentments, differences in values, all kinds of things can come up, daily monotony, stresses, all that kind of stuff can actually get housed within your yoni. So you've probably heard of the saying, the body holds the score, right? And there's a book called The Body Holds the Score. It's all about how the body holds on to trauma. And when it comes to a woman's yoni, that trauma can be things such as stress, daily stress. It can cause tension, it can cause muscle weakness, it can cause numbness, it can cause pain, it can cause the tissues to constrict or harden within the yoni. And so just like somebody holds tension in their shoulders or their neck or their back, a woman can hold that kind of tension within her yoni. And if you've had a really bad back for a while, it can stop you from working your muscles. It can cause pain. It can cause you to, if you've been in consistent pain, it can cause numbness. It can cause muscle atrophy because you're unable to engage the muscles because it's tense. And then over time that can cause muscle weakness. It's the same within a woman's yoni. And this is going on all the time. Her yoni is part of her. A woman is deeply, intricately connected emotionally, psychologically, and sexually within her yoni. It is an extension of her whole being, everything. It's a whole universe within her. And so it's really important to implement couples practices so that you can create that sense of safety and trust within your dynamic, so a woman can open up and experience her full, authentic sexual potential and expression. You see, most people think of sex as either pleasure-driven or goal-oriented. So that is like reaching an orgasm or performing well or making sure it feels good. But what if I told you that there's an entirely different approach to sex? One that's about deep vulnerability, deep authenticity, deep intimacy, and deep trust and safety that will truly honor the woman's body and truly allow for the most intimate connection between you. It's about cultivating an emotional, intimate sexual connection. It's not just about pleasure. It's not just about orgasm. It's not just about getting off sexual gratification. It's not just about a quick fix or rushing to the finish line. When you can create this healing space with your partner, and it goes both ways, but I'm just speaking about what to do for the woman. When you can create this healing space with your partner and you have this healing space with your partner, you start to see your partner in a whole new light. But not just see them in a whole new light, you get to experience them in a whole new way. So if you're ready to explore this, stay with me because I'm about to share with you the exact practices that can help open up a whole new world of connection and pleasure for you both. So before I delve into the practices, I just want to recap on why this matters so much, because I feel like it's really important to have that understanding so you know why it is you're doing this. Our bodies, especially as women, store emotions, trauma, and tension within the pelvic region. If we've ever experienced heartbreak, stress, trauma, or just daily emotional suppression, or energy leaks, or stagnant energy, it can lead to numbness, pain, disconnection, disassociation, struggles with pleasure, and even things like muscle weakness. These practices allow you to move beyond the usual goal-oriented sex and into an experience that is deeply connected, nourishing, and healing. And so this helps to build trust and emotional safety with your partner. It helps to awaken a woman's body and being to her full sexual expression and her full pleasure potential. And it does this naturally without force. And it also helps to enhance the connection and deep love and intimacy that you have with each other beyond sexual gratification and beyond the physical. It will help you to create a deep emotional and even spiritual connection with each other. And when you do this together, it strengthens your relationship at a core level. And I'm going to explain how it does this a little bit later in the video. So let's get into the 5 sexual healing and what I call sexual maintenance and pelvic maintenance, or yoni maintenance and yoni care practices. Call it whatever you want. It's a type of sexual healing and maintenance. So let's get into the 5 practices. So the first one is pelvic mapping with biofeedback. So this is a powerful practice that explores the 4 quadrants of the pelvic bowl. So your pelvic bowl is divided into 4 quadrants. There's the anterior, the posterior, and then the left and right. It will be the man who is going to be using his finger to explore the 4 quadrants of his woman's yoni. And he'll be doing this whilst giving feedback to his partner. So he can explore the 4 quadrants and he will be noticing the textures, noticing if there's any tension or suppleness, noticing what he's feeling as he's doing this. Are there any emotions or thoughts coming up for him as he's doing this? And he can share these things with his woman as he's doing this. I'm feeling this kind of texture, I'm feeling this kind of tension, or I can feel that there is a point of juiciness. I'm sensing that me pressing here feels good to you or doesn't feel good to you. I'm feeling you constricting, your yoni is tensing right now, this kind of thing. And then he can share, okay, I feel like this, or I'm thinking this right now because of what's going on in this quadrant of your yoni. And then she can share with him what she's feeling physically and emotionally and psychologically as well. And they can have this back and forth communication about the 4 quadrants of her yoni. It's not just about touch, it's about awareness, and it allows for both partners to truly understand the yoni on a deeper level than just the usual sexual way of interacting with the yoni. It may surprise him what comes up for him and how intricately he can connect with her yoni. And it may surprise her how much her yoni is open to his healing abilities. So the next one is vaginal reflexology. So much like hand or foot reflexology, the yoni has different zones that correspond to different organs and different emotions. So by touching and applying gentle pressure to the different zones and massaging into the different zones, a man can help his woman release stored energy and emotion whilst also allowing her to connect with these different aspects and organs within her own body. There's specific vaginal reflexology techniques that you can use. So for example, some areas may hold grief or fear or anger, and the tension can be related to various life circumstances and experiences. And with the right presence and communication, these emotions can be lovingly acknowledged and released. So for example, in Chinese medicine, grief is linked to the lungs and anger is linked to the liver, for instance. And so it gives the woman an opportunity to tune into these different kind of experiences and emotions within her. He can ask specific questions related to those organs and emotions. So for instance, do you have any grief within your lungs right now? Are you feeling any grief in your life? What's coming up for you around grief? Or if you feel into your lungs as I press this point, what are you experiencing? And allow for whatever wants to come up and out. So the next one is de-armoring the yoni. And a lot of people don't like this term, but it kind of is, it does what it says on the tin. It is de-armoring the yoni. So the yoni can become very defensive and put her defenses up, and this armor shielding her all around her. And that can be simply because of day-to-day stress. That could be because of poor communication in the relationship. That could be because of past trauma. A woman can place armor around her yoni, which prevents her from accessing her sexual expression and her pleasure, and it can prevent her from deeply connecting with her man during sexual experiences. And she may experience numbness and pain because of this armor that is around her yoni and different parts of her yoni. So this is really one of the most profound healing practices that I have come across. So what needs to happen here is that the man very slowly and gently moves around the different parts of the yoni, starting from the outside, so the vulva. So starting with the outer, well, starting with the groin, the pubic bone area, moving into the outer labia, moving into the inner labia, around the clitoris, maybe on the clitoris, around the urethra, around the perineum, and moving into the vaginal opening. Throughout this practice, you want to be very gently massaging her and then applying more and more pressure. And if there's any points of tension, numbness, pain, discomfort, he can actually press a bit deeper into that if that is okay with her, always asking permission along the way, checking in along the way, and she can then express if that's okay to put more pressure. It's kind of like when you have tension in your shoulders or your back or your neck, and you have knots and tightness in the muscles and the tissues, and you go to get a massage to release that tension. It's kind of a similar vibe here that we're going for, but you have to start very, very gently. And so once you get to the vaginal opening, it's about then going round the healing clock, I call it. So you want to massage from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then all the way around to 8 to 10 to 12, and massage around the healing clock. And you want to be pressing into any points of pain or numbness. Obviously use lubrication. And then you want to be entering the yoni and going around the healing clock again, going in by a centimeter or two, going around the healing clock, going around the healing clock, all the way up until the cervix. It's unlikely that a finger is going to reach the cervix unless she has her knees up to her chest or shoulders. They might be able to reach the cervix that way, but you can also use a healing yoni crystal wand to do this practice, and it's good to use the pointy end of the wand, not the bigger end, to really get into these points around the yoni and the healing clock. What she needs to be doing is breathing into it, feeling into what she's experiencing, releasing any emotion. She's going to be practicing staying present with the sensation, present with her yoni, with her body, listening to what's a yes, what's a no. Is she okay with this? Does she want to stop? Does she need him to slow down, put more or less pressure? And this is about her practicing speaking up for what she needs. Obviously, the goal here is not pleasure, it's not orgasm, but you might find that there is pleasure there, and that's totally fine. And if you organically slip into orgasmic states or orgasm or ripples or whatever, if you naturally fall into that, that's completely okay. But the goal isn't for that to happen. And if that does happen, you want to bring it back to the healing intention, not the pleasure, gratification, orgasm intention. Come back to healing. Orgasm is a powerful healing tool, actually. That's something I'll speak about in a different video. But for now, we are doing the de-armoring practice. And so it's not really about orgasm. It's not really about pleasure. It's actually about going into the pain points and de-armoring those points so that she can drop her defenses and be able to surrender to her pleasure and experience the flow of her sexual energy and be able to engage all the muscles in her dexterous yoni. Over time, this practice can awaken sensitivity, it can increase natural pleasure, and it can help a woman to feel deeply connected to her body, and it can help you to feel so deeply connected to each other as well. So the next one, number 4, is somatic bodywork and presence-based touch. So this is a full body practice where the man uses slow, intentional touch and what I call the elements of touch. So air, fire, water, earth. So if you think of air as feather-light touch, fire as faster touch, water, gentle flowing caresses, and earth, grounding touches, like gripping, grounding touches. He can use the elements of touch and move around her body to help her to tune into her own body. Obviously, there's no rush, there's no agenda, it's just about presence. And this is really about a woman reclaiming her yes, her no, and her internal experience of her body and tuning into her presence. So the woman is invited to say yes, no, I like that, I don't like that, that's okay, that's not okay, softer, harder, faster, slower. Every touch is an invitation to learn, an invitation to explore in that moment, moment to moment. It could be completely different another day. She might like something one day and not like something another day, and that's completely fine. It's about that specific moment and what her internal experience is of her being touched in this way. The practice alone can be incredibly empowering, and it helps a woman to feel deeply seen and respected and honored by her partner. So number 5 is consent-based healing yoni massage. So unlike a traditional yoni massage where often the focus can be on pleasure or orgasm and different types of orgasm, this particular yoni massage is all about consent and permission. And every step of the way, the man asks his partner for permission, for consent, and asks her questions about how she wants to be touched. So she gets to guide the yoni massage, the healing yoni massage. She gets to share with him and guide him with what she needs, what she feels her yoni needs. And he needs to be asking, how does this feel to you? Would you like me to touch here? Does this feel good? Does this feel bad? What happens if I touch here? So it's an opportunity for her to learn to use her voice and for them to communicate with each other, and for her to really, again, feel into her own experience of her yoni. And this creates an environment where a woman can truly discover what she wants in each moment. She learns to listen to her body and explore her true desires and communicate them freely, knowing that her partner is completely present with her and not focused on an end result and not trying to get anything out of her. So the real benefit of doing these practices is that you can release deep-seated tension, resentments, emotion, stress, trauma with each other. Your man, he can become your healer, your sexual healer. He can become your healing light. You can start to experience a deeper bond with each other. You can experience more natural rolling hills, ocean wave style of orgasm, which is not a peak orgasmic experience. It's not a friction-based peak orgasmic experience. So rather than sharp spikes in dopamine, you'll be releasing a lot more oxytocin. And this helps you and your partner to pair bond together. So when you go down the peak orgasm dopamine route, it can often cause a disconnect afterwards. But when you come into a pair bonding pathway, you want to stay together. So it creates more harmony and compassion just naturally with each other day to day. It can help you move away from just the goal-driven sexual experiences where, although there's nothing wrong with those, sometimes there can be this pressure to perform and a feeling of from him that he needs to please you and you need to orgasm, he's trying to make you come, and then you're feeling this pressure and that if you don't then you're broken or wrong or bad. It takes away all of that pressure and performance mode of sex, and you can come into authenticity and there's no expectation, so you can deeply relax into your truth. And this allows a woman to then come into what is called relaxed arousal. When a woman is able to have these experiences with her man, it then helps her to feel a sense of safety to fully relax into sexual play with him when that time comes. So I hope this video made sense. I do have other juicy videos like this, so feel free to check out my playlists on my channel, and also feel free to check out my website to see my offerings, online courses and signature one-to-one programs. And let me know in the comments any sexual healing, pelvic self-care, partner practices that you have tried with your partner that have really helped you to create a deeper bond, deeper connection and a more intimate sexual relationship with each other. I would love to hear from you and where you are on your journey. This kind of stuff just lights me up. So please feel free to comment, and also if you enjoyed this video, if this resonated with you, if you enjoyed watching me speak or listening to me speak, then please do give this video a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel. It really will help my channel to grow, and that is something that I really want to do this year, is grow this channel, because I feel like I have some juicy information to say. And also it's so that you can become part of this juicy community online, worldwide. We can connect with other like minds in the comments and just grow this amazing community here. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you being here. I am wishing you an amazing day, and remember, as always, to keep it juicy. Bye.